What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Capsule. This is the show where we give you our thoughts, feelings, and opinions on all things happening in the street dance world. I am here with Jenny Lou. We are in Montreal at Sun Lux, so let's get into it. Okay, so first things first. Kev's Kitchen went viral. Have you seen this?
Kev's Kitchen has gone viral.
Crazy viral.
We have now surpassed 1 million views.
I think there are million 4 or 5 at the time of recording on the original post.
Yeah, but then there's been spin-offs.
There's been spin-offs. So for anyone that's watching that doesn't know, there is... All right, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, let's take it back.
Let's take it way back. So, DJ Renegade, aka Kev, has for a long time, has taught people popping. Oh, at first it was popping, and then it was other styles. But he teaches people or coaches people from home / unconventional spaces. Because I think way back in the day they would do breaking stuff, not necessarily in his house, but like in apartment blocks or these type of like spaces. And and he kind of coaches people, invites, it's like a kind of invite only type of vibe, whereas like you can't just, it's not like an open class where you can just walk in. Yeah. He's quite open to people joining. Yeah. But it is kind of like you have to speak to him and ask him, can I come?
Get in touch and be like, can I come to your house?
Exactly.
Which I feel like is only fair.
Yes, it's his house. And he, coaches people. It's a lot of like, I think there's a difference between coaching and teaching, which is a whole other type of thing. And I think that's why he calls himself a coach, because he's not necessarily like starting from the basics and going, this is popping or this is breaking or whatever. But he's coaching in the same way that like my basketball coach used to coach me. He's not teaching me to play basketball, but he's working on your fitness. He's working on your repetition of certain things so that when you come to play, you're good at it. Yeah. Right. So this is all the backstory of what this place is for people that don't know.
And there's been like, it's been running for years, like you said, in different styles. He trains people in-house as well, popping. I think there was a time that like whackers were going. Yeah. And yeah, I've gone there as well. I've trained there like...
I trained there for a while.
And it's a really like nice environment. And yeah, I think it's kind of one of the UK's like, not a staple thing, but it's like definitely like a London thing.
Yeah,
you know, of like
sure.
Kev's place is like a training spot.
Yeah. And I think it's very much like a choice to train there. It's like, obviously he's offering to do this for free, so he doesn't want to have to leave and bother with like renting a studio and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not like an organized class in that way. It's just like, I'm running these sessions for people that I want to run them for, kind of vibe.
Worth mentioning that he also does this for free.
Yes, he does it for free. Now, so fast forward, and he has people, like, you know, it's been quite a while that this has been going, and one of the people that goes there now, I don't know exactly who it is, maybe Simon or Inga or someone, maybe a few of them, started a Kev's Kitchen Instagram account, because for a while this was kind of like I don't know, a thing that people knew about, but there was no, like, he didn't film or anything. Actually, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I did one of the first pieces of stuff on Kev's coaching. I did like a mini doc about 7 minutes long, but back in like 2018,
something like that.
Yeah. And yeah, so now they've kind of made this Instagram account. So they film kind of stuff that he says, like drills that he's sharing, like videos from the people.
Like a little peep into
what's happening.
Yeah.
So one of these videos is just a basic video of them doing kind of hitting drills. And it's like kind of like, like tat, 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 tat. It's like a little texture on the hit that they're doing. Yeah. And for some reason, it caught fire and went viral. It's so funny because, all right, I have so many. Do you have opinions or takes on this? So I'll finish what I was saying. So it went viral. It's got over 1.5 million views on the page. And the page itself only has like 2,000-3,000
Followers.
followers. It's not like it's a huge page. It just happened to catch fire. Then it went viral. Like people just reshared it.
Yeah, and then people started making memes, like video memes.
Yeah.
Of it.
And then one guy made one where he's like, I love these ones where it's like, he shows the other perspective that they've made up. But it's like you walk in and your roommate's holding a Poplocking class in your kitchen and it's just him like looking around and then it cuts to like them dancing and it cuts back. So that went viral in itself. And that was like the 5th thing that I'd seen that went viral. And then Snoop Dogg
Shared it.
reposted it on his main feed today.
Yeah.
At the time of recording. And yeah, I mean, Snoop Dogg's post alone has 1 million views.
Yep.
And it's like, listen, all right, here's my thoughts on it. Like, there's some people in there that are like being mean.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I want to say like 80% of people are making jokes.
Yeah.
Then there's like a 10% that are actually defending it and be like, oh, this is actually legit
Yeah.
if you know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. I think there's a few things. I think, first of all, what I will say is dancers, get out them comments because just leave it alone. Like, it's so funny to see people in those comments being like, no, actually, this is a real, no, actually, it's like this. And actually, this is a real thing. And we're actually trying hard. It's like, it's so like, all right, we're here to make jokes. Like, let it go. Like, you can't be first of all, let it go. Second of all, you can't be in the comments fighting every single person. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't waste your energy trying to like defend it because they don't, if you actually spoke to them, those people don't actually care or think anything negative about it. They probably go, oh yeah, actually it does look quite legit. I just wanted to make a funny joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just clowning and having fun. I think the other thing is that it's kind of like everybody has their turn. Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many things that go viral on the internet. And like I see all these things that like people were like comparing it to in a way, but like where, you know, it's like it'll be these like spirituality things where they're in the forest like doing weird things. Like they're like sober POV, you went to a sober rave and it's just them in the forest like doing to no music and just woo like clapping. And it's like, okay, we make fun of those things or people make fun of that. And when I see those go viral, I laugh at them and I'm like, oh, what are they doing? But like, okay, inside, do I feel like, oh, it's good that they found something that's healthy and they're not hurting anyone and let them do it? Of course, but that's not funny.
Yeah. But also it's like, I don't know, for me, there's like something about the fact that like I love dance so much and it's been part of my life and like, you know, like it's been very, very present in my life for such a long time. But a lot of things that we do in dance like looks insane. like it doesn't.
Yes.
Like I love it, but to the outside person, like a lot of it makes no sense. And even to, you know, especially when you're talking about like drilling very specific things and like practicing waves and you're like this in front of the mirror for like hours, like that doesn't really make a lot of logical sense to somebody who goes to an office and like works a normal job.
I mean, we are a subculture of a subculture of a subculture.
Yeah.
Like training popping drills is like battle culture is one small element of hip hop dance.
Yeah.
Hip hop dance is one small element of hip hop culture. And hip hop culture is, well, it was at the beginning a subculture. It's like, we're so niche, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I think it's like, for me, I'm looking at it like it's okay to like, it's fine to live with the duality that like, yeah, this is a dope training spot and they're like perfecting a craft and they're all amazing artists, but also it looks crazy.
Yeah, legit.
Like let's just kind of
Like, step back and not take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah. Like, you know, and kind of, right, when you're on a big stage and all of that, it like...
pays off.
It kind of pays off and you see like the illusion and you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But the whole point is to give people a window into the process, and the process, you know...
Sometimes looks funny.
Yeah, and it's just like people who sing, who like have to do drills with their voice and they're like, Like,
Yeah, true.
or like actors that kind of go method and then they're like fucking doing nonsense and
Yeah.
so for me it's kind of like, yeah, when you take it out of context, it
It's
is
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah.
And like it's okay to just look at it and appreciate that it's funny and like,
And even more, it's like it's funny, and it's in someone's kitchen.
yeah,
Which, when you don't know the background, it makes it even funnier. Because if this was in a dance studio, I don't think it goes viral.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's in somebody's kitchen, clearly,
Yeah,
and there's so many people in there. It's not one of those sessions where they have like 3 of them or 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's a packed week where everybody was there.
yeah, but he's just like, what?
It's like, why is there so many people like, there's so many elements that make it funny.
Yeah.
It's like so many people dancing and like doing repetitive, like popping stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like
And you're like,
in a kitchen.
yeah, and this is a drill. Like, this is a kind of repetitive drill to get a technique down. So it's not dancing. It's not like they're not doing rounds. They're just like,
And there was so many comments of like, because I think Kev said something like about changing levels or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think, I don't know. And I don't know exactly what that part was. Obviously it's only a clip, but it's like, he said something like changing levels. And I wonder if he's talking about, he said something like, oh, even when you're changing levels or something. And I wonder if he's talking about levels of like strength or something. There's no context to it. But like so many people are commenting like, and they're not even, the thing that makes me the most mad is they're not even changing levels. Like, I didn't see a single level change. But it's like, I think it's like all out of context.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I haven't seen anyone that's in the video like too mad or upset about it. Which they should, it's like, you have to like step back and be like, okay, out of context, this does look hilarious.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just really funny. And I think, like, I don't think people in the scene are taking it too seriously either. But like, some people are just going in the comments and like arguing with random people saying it's poplocking and like, no, it's not poplocking.
Yeah.
It's like,
Actually, it's called popping. It's like, all right, they don't give a shit.
but it's like, okay, fine, if like whatever floats your boat to do with your time. But it's like, these people don't actually care. You know, they just saw something and it's like, you write a comment.
The amount of jokes I make with people that I don't actually care about you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But
if you're making fun of someone, you're not trying to. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, good for whoever this serves. Like,
what do you mean?
I mean, it's not like, it's just a little moment of like something viral.
viral.
But like, if something positive comes out of it for Kev or
Yeah,
for
Kev's
anybody.
Kitchen needs to. They think. Well, I mean, they don't even monetize them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
But
if they were looking for students, this would be a great marketing.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's
That's why you should always put logos on your videos, peeps.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's just funny. It's funny how like at random moments, like something's just gonna pop off for no reason. Like
It's
this
so-
stuff is just a line and then something catches.
Yeah, and it's like, the thing is, when you have a video like that where like the original account doesn't have a lot of followers, but it just goes viral.
Yeah.
It's such a like, it's not even like algorithm, but it's like so many people found the same thing funny about it somehow, and it like leaked and then just caught. It's literally like a fire. Like it just caught fire somehow, and everybody found the same part of it funny. Yeah, it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg has 1 million views. That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know what you have to give to the internet and to like Instagram and all of that is that people have a sense of humor, you know, and it's like you kind of, people are making different jokes out of it. Like the guy who pretends he's coming in.
Yeah.
I saw some people be like, oh, that's what happens to roaches in the kitchen when you turn on the lights. Like,
That's very funny.
just stuff like that is kind of like, you have to appreciate the humor.
Yeah, this is like one of the best things about the
Internet.
internet is like how
Like,
it exposes how funny people really are.
yeah.
But it's like there's a lot of like, for something that's this viral, there's a lot of positive comments.
Yeah.
Like people being like, oh no, I'd 100% join in, or them being like, like actually this is quite lit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like people are actually into it. But I think it's the kitchen thing that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody commented being like, they're all absolutely killing it, but seeing it done with this many people in this type of space is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Which is like, that kind of sums it up. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. That's kind of the That's the brand.
Yeah. But then, you know, it's also, I think there's so many things that make a viral video. When there's this is why you have those videos where it's like, let's say TikToks with like the people in the background and it like zooms into their reactions or whatever. But it's like when there's multiple people in a video, you watch it so many times to see each person. So that's what they're doing with this, where they're talking about like T-Boy, and then they'll talk about like Max and Chris are at the front, and then they'll be like, oh, the one black guy at the back, and then this guy in green that like gave up. And it's like each time you watch it, you're like watching a different, so then it just generates like 4 views for every person. You know what I mean? But there's so many like, it's hilarious. We should have had Leon to give his take on about being featured
About going viral.
Yeah. He should have just been, I do art videos in the back.
Yeah, like hold his drawing.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, I wonder if the ones after, not really, haven't gone viral. They should post those on TikTok. But yeah, not much else to say about that, I guess. It just is funny.
Yeah.
And it is a moment, but it will pass, and
There'll be another moment.
It just does these things. Get out the comments and stop arguing. Like, it's such a waste of time to be like, actually, it's called popping.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's like, it's not like a bad thing if you want to kind of correct people and be like educator. But it's just
but in the comment,
but it's just like the energy might be wasted if it's people that are like, I actually could not care less what it's called.
It's like me watching Fast and the Furious and someone coming in and saying, actually, that's not how an exhaust would work. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm just
it's as if
fun.
I'm like, you know, sometimes you see videos of like kids doing martial arts, and if you're like, oh, Karate Kid, and someone's like, it's not karate, it's actually judo.
Yeah, it's like I don't give a shit. This is a viral reel. Yeah.
But whatever floats your boat, we respect you.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, get out the comments. So that is that. We thought we'd do a little Dancers React to Kim's Kitchen.
What a way to start 2026.
Yeah, welcome to 2026. Okay, so for our, I guess this is like a what can we learn?
Okay.
Kind of.
What can we learn?
I don't have a full like breakdown of it, but I just thought it was very interesting. I have a video to show you, right? It's a comedian that is talking about You Will Not Be a Funny Yes.
With old school garage, all you needed was 2 parts of your body to get into the groove. Just 2 parts of your body. This finger and this finger. And as soon as the tune dropped, you was in your zone. DJ, have you got an old school garage tune for me, sir? You got old school garage tune for me, please? Sound engineer? Allow him, he's on work experience. Leave him, don't worry. Mr. Sound engineer, have you got an old school garage tune for me, please? There, like that, there we go. Wait, stop, pull it, wait, pull that back, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as the tune dropped, baby. You didn't see it, but I saw it. I saw it. Do me a favor, can you play that again for me, please? Everyone had their own kind of style with it. Bring it down to the... Everyone had their own style with it. They used to have a good time with it. For some reason, the fellas would get really, really aggressive. And they would try to go with the beat. Don't ask me why. Wait, ladies, stop it. You lot can't even laugh. Ladies, you can't laugh. Because you lot tried to make it look sexy. You lot really did. And pause. You lot will pause as well. Wait, hold on. Is that cutie looking at me? Is he looking? All right. He's looking. All right. You lot would do that. But there's one thing that everybody did. Man, woman, everyone would do this, right? You was in a nightclub, you see your friend across the room, and you would acknowledge your friend by doing something which is called a sniper pose. Right? Look, she did it already in the seat. I said sniper pose, she went, yeah, straight away. For those who don't know what I mean, I'm going to show you right now. Can you turn the music up for me, please? I'm going to show you. Am I lying? Listen, guys, my name is Uri Styler.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to me. God bless and take care.
The reason why I bring this up is because that is like from someone that grew up here, and like I was the tail end of the UK garage wave. I was a bit too young to be clubbing when that was really in full swing. But
At its peak.
Yeah, but when we were kids, it was kind of like, you know, you're around that culture. And then when you grow up, you're kind of like, I was a generation under this generation who were out when it was the shit. It was like the 90s kind of vibe, I guess. But what I find interesting about that clip is, right, he's talking about the kind of using the two fingers, this type of thing, and like the different poses and all that. And that is a very interesting example of what Dance Foundation is.
Okay.
Because all, like, obviously if you're listening from England and from London specifically, well, I guess, yeah, from England, this UK garage thing makes more sense. But if you're from Europe or whatever, I think the thing is that people look at, you know, hip hop foundations and like kind of, let's say like in New York or wherever, or, you know, even in funk dances in LA or wherever it is. And they look at like how these things started and they study the history and be like, okay, these were social dances. They were done in this type of way and this technique and blah, 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 blah. And this meant this culturally. And it's almost like for a lot of people, I find what is hard with the transition of hip hop culture is people not quite grasping the essence of these things. So like, and it goes in so many different directions. I think there's like a version of this which is like over academic, if you know what I mean. Like people, because they don't grasp it, they think the answer is to like
over intellectualize
and like codify everything. Like, yeah, they would always put right foot, left foot, right foot, right foot. And that's how the thing was done. And that meant this and that meant, and it's like, okay, kind of, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's almost in like a half joking way because the way he's talking about these things, and sorry, to go back, like, I think the transition of this culture, like outside of America, it either goes that way or it goes another way where people like, they never went to the club, they don't get it. So they're like, well, I'm just going to use these moves how I want to move them. And it's like, that's also fine. But then you're missing like the cultural context of the moves. And I think people bounce between not giving a shit or over academic or over intellectualizing it, right? And I think, let's say for people in the UK, this is a great way for us to look at these things because what he's explaining, being from here, is 100% true. Like that sniper posing, the two like fingers, like Kano's song Garage Skank is like the garage skank is this. It's like a known thing. And like skanking is another word for just like dancing in a club kind of thing, like this vibe. It's not like nobody codified skanking or nobody
came up with and now we're gonna do
yes. And this is like skanking is just like a casual word that was used, right? And it's like, it makes me think of like how we would say skanking, like in New York, they would be like, oh, he's getting light about life, or they're getting buck. It's not like a thing, or if someone's funky. And this is the thing, people are like, that is funk and that's not fun. And it's like, it's not, you can't like say that's buck, that's not buck, that's funky, that's not funky, that's light, that's not light. It's like, it's just a word that people use. It's like saying that's dope. And so when people say, oh, he's skanking, no one's like, well, actually that girl over there is not skanking and that one is skanking. And it's just a word that we say you would just like jamming in the club kind of thing. And all of these like movements and stuff, obviously London's history is a lot influenced by like Caribbean and Jamaican like culture. And a lot of these gun finger type of things come from dancehall and like from that culture. So that's and again, it's the same, it's like the sister culture of hip hop, right? So while the Jamaican and Caribbean like immigrants were influencing New York culture to make hip hop, over here they were influencing UK garage and drum and bass and stuff to create what eventually turns into grime and what we see now is UK hip hop. But it's all this lineage. So in terms of club culture, we have had our own version. And it's like you have these type of movements or, you know, all this stuff that he's saying, even like the sniper pose thing. And it's like, again, no one called it a sniper pose. Like, it's just, you were just doing it to have fun and because this is kind of your go-to and it's the thing that got catchy. And then you point to your friend and, you know, there's so many other little things that people would like, everybody knew if you started doing it, it's just a little way to dance together. But then it's like, this is kind of where if somebody's trying to understand like, let's say that became a dominant dance style,
Yeah.
which I would love one day for there to be like a UK dance style. But it's like going back in time by 30, 40 years and people going, right, this was called the sniper pose. And the way you do it is left, right, and you have to point, no, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's not right. And it's like,
Yeah, it's like you get in a squat position.
yeah, no, your squat, it has to be with your legs turned out, because turned in is not. And it's like, this is kind of what I think, where it's like, you know, there are some things in hip hop culture that are like, at the time of creation were codified, right?
Yeah.
And like created to be a move. But a lot of times these moves were done in different clubs by different types of people, and all sorts of versions of them. In like doing these type of skanks in like East London might be different to North London, like depending on where you're from. And it's like the bounce of hip hop was different in New York than it was in LA or was in Atlanta. It looks different. So it's like just the common denominator is it makes us bob our heads like this. And then the culture of that place takes over. And I think it's like, it's such an interesting way to look at how you can study hip hop history if you're not from America, or you don't have culture like this that we have in London to relate to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you can look at other places where things are more current and you're able to relate to them more. And it might even be like traditional folk dances or something. Like, how does like social dance transmit throughout the world? You know what I mean? And I think it's just such a way to be like, okay, we don't need to over intellect. I think this is the issue, right? People are aiming to do something with their sniper pose, and they're missing the mark ever so slightly in terms of learning about hip hop, right? So this is what I think. I could be wrong. This is what I think.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Is you shouldn't necessarily over intellectualize each and every move and each and every step, because those moves and steps were different depending on the year, the place, the person doing it, the crew doing it. Like, there were so many variations in cultural dances, and there are to this day, right? But what if you're going to study or over intellectualize something, it should be the cultural context surrounding those things. And I think that's what people don't do when they're studying hip hop, is they don't go and study like me and Joel had some really interesting conversations about why house clubs were the way they were, or why this club was like how it was. And when you understand why, for example, a house club was the way it was and people were dancing the way they were, or when you understand why a hip hop club in New York was like that, but then a hip hop club in Atlanta was like that, and the context of the people and the city and how it was at that time, you can then make your own creative decisions on those moves based in how the culture moves, as opposed to replicating the exact moves that you think you should be doing with no understanding of why.
Yeah.
So you're over intellectualizing, oh, the walkout is this step, or the bounce has to look like this, or the running man has to look exactly like this, and a 1 and 2, or it's not a running man. But it's like, it's not about any of those details. It's about the culture and how it was when those people were doing those things. Because I promise you, there was no one in a club being like, oh, you're doing it wrong. It's like, I do a running man, you look at me from across the club and copy, and that's how it got transmitted.
Yeah.
So it was never necessary for there to be workshops and to be like this in-depth teaching of technique back in the day. But what they had was that they were in the environment.
Yeah.
And now we don't have that. So we have to find a way to pass these things on intellectually. So it's like, going back to this UK garage thing, it's like trying to teach someone how and why this was a thing in 20 years in Finland, or, you know, or Russia or something, being like, what do you mean you did this? And it's like, okay, I have to try and break it down to you, but it's actually what I need to be breaking down to you is the culture and the scene and how it felt, and then you do what you want with it.
Yeah.
But not like, okay, 2 fingers, not 3, not 1, it's 2 fingers. Like, some people did it with 1, some people did it with, you know what they did with their whole hands. Like, there's no technique to it, but there's culture to it.
Yeah. And I think it's like even in terms of like, not necessarily like the movement, but like the kind of different vocabulary and the different steps or the different like foundations or whatnot. I think it's like, what what actually matters the most, I think, is like the connection between the movement. Like, so what happens is like, you know, whether you do a pop or this, it's like this position and this position doesn't really mean anything per se, but it's like how you like go and the vibe that's in between them, or like same with like, okay, you do a walkout and it's like foot here, but it's more about like how you get in and out of it and the movement that like connects it to the next thing, connects it to like the rest of your body when you're doing it. This is kind of where the meat is, not the actual like moves. So you can kind of like spend forever. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's like if you're kind of dedicating yourself to an art form, it's important to like learn the kind of basics and foundation and all of that. But then when you kind of get past that, it's like about how you create the like your own way of connecting things and your own way of making sense of these different movements, and not just like movement A, B, C. And
I think that's what we look at when we're judging battles and this type of stuff. It's like how the movement flows and how these things get into each other.
And it's like also the space where you have to be yourself. Like that's where you kind of have space to like inject your...
And this is kind of the thing where it's like when you learn in air quotes dances in the club, like that's how I learned to dance. And not to say like, oh, it was such an authentic hip hop experience. It wasn't. It was actually after I started dancing and taking classes that I feel like I did the majority of it. Like when I was younger, like 15, 16, we used to go to house parties and like I would always like join in with people doing like little dance. Like, I remember when chicken noodle soup and all this stuff that's now light feet like foundations, like we were doing that in the club just because it was like of the time. And it was like when the song came on, or when there was certain songs that came on, you would do the like snap your fingers, do you that? And it's like, and then it was like it's going down, and it's like these were the social dances of our era, you know. And then it's like, you know, when I was older and I started going to clubs in like South London with the guys that I was dancing with, it's like I had never danced like in an adult club, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I'm just looking around going, okay, that person looks kind of cool, and like even just the way they're moving, and I'm like, okay, like it's kind of like it's like nerdy almost, but you know, I'm just like looking around like, all right, I don't want to look stupid, like, oh yeah, that person's doing it. Like I never grew up listening to like dance hall. So when the dancehall songs come on, I just like watch the people around me and be like, okay, what step are they doing? Like, okay, that's what they're doing. And it's like, all that to say is when you're learning dance like that, you have no choice but to do it in your own way. Because you can't go over and say, is that a 5 and a 6, 7, 8, or is that a 1 and a 2, 3? Like, it's like you just do what you kind of see.
And you can't be like, you know, you kind of have to kind of take a quick look, like, and just do your
exactly. And it's like, in a way, this is kind of what we lose when we... and it's like, it's done in an effort to respect and maintain the culture and the history. But then you over intellectualize it and like lose everything that made the early transition authentic. You know what I mean? Which is such a like hard thing. And I do feel for people that live in areas of the world where they don't like. The more I think about this stuff and learn about it, the more I am glad that I live in London. And like we have some kind of parallel culture, you know, and like, you know, Toronto and Montreal have like similar kind of like immigrant culture that has like influenced these things like the same as it had in America. I think the Black American experience is very unique and different, but like that's why like Toronto and London are like cousins, because they both have a very heavily influenced like Caribbean population. So a lot of their slang is the same as our slang. But it's like if you come from like, and I mean Paris has similar kind of like, it's like I would call it immigrant culture, you know, that like influences these type of like clubs and whatever.
Colonizers, isn't it?
The colonizers?
Like UK.
Yeah,
France.
of course, exactly, But if you're Denmark or you're Lithuania, like how do you try to be a part of hip hop culture with no like real, I mean, I'm sure they have immigrants, I'm not saying they don't, but as in like there's not a dominant culture that is grown from these things as that you could call a parallel. Because if ever I don't understand something from hip hop history in America, I could look at how things have translated here and be like, okay, I see how that works here, and I could maybe match it onto, you know,
Yeah.
these type of things in the States. I think there's still some big differences, but yeah, it is an interesting one. Like the transmission of it into, and I still think we are learning how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we found a great way yet to like transmit this culture. I mean, the best way would be to have clubs,
Yeah.
but we need dancer clubs
Yeah.
everywhere.
But I think also it's like, this is a thing that I really noticed when we went to LA. That is also like, I think is a difference between like the US and not necessarily everywhere in the US, but
Sure.
the US and like London and like even Montreal or other places. It's like, I feel like even kind of current hip hop is a lot more like popular culture than it is for us. Like we went to a comedy club and they were playing like Sexy Red, and like everyone was singing along, and they were playing Cardi B. Well, okay, Cardi B is a little bit more mainstream, but like Glorilla,
Yeah.
everybody was singing along, and like people were like 40 years old jamming.
Like
Everyone
yeah.
knows the words, so it's a lot more ingrained in like the fabric of like culture than it is like here. Like in Montreal, well, we're in Montreal right now, but even in London, like you wouldn't kind of hear Glorilla and like everybody in their 40s is like jamming
Yeah.
and singing and like knows the music.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's like there's kind of a also like a deeper kind of what like being part of everyday life that is still like more present in the US than in
Yeah.
other places, that makes like the transmitting of a certain vibe, of a certain energy, of a certain essence, like you don't have to like, or you know, it's like, I mean, the US is like a particular place in the world, but it's like where I feel like even if in the battle circuit and in the competition circuit you don't have like Americans that are not as present as like Europeans and Asian, like
Yeah.
and Asia, there's more of a circuit that exists there. But it's like the US, there's still like kind of the essence of it, you know, for me is still like stronger than
Yeah.
everywhere else, where there's this thing that doesn't need to be communicated and explained because it's just there.
Well, yeah, it's culture.
Yeah.
And I think this is what the issue is with people who like, especially if you're not from the States and you get on your high horse about what is and isn't hip hop. This is the thing that starts to irritate me, because it's like people are like, yeah, like from London will be like, yeah, this like A Tribe Called Quest and this is real hip hop. This like Cardi B and Glorilla and all these, that's like trash music and it's not real hip hop. And it's like, have you been to like New York? And like, have you understood, like, do you listen to what they're currently listening to? Because you're removed from the culture telling people or speaking like, oh, I know what the culture, and it's just because the people that taught you that are from a specific era.
Yeah.
So you have just frozen it in time and be like, yeah, the 90s is the best time in hip hop. And it's like, that's not, for me, that's not being a student of the culture. That's being a student of one particular time period that you've idolized. And people do it with dance. They're like, oh, this is the way to dance because it's how people danced in the 90s. And it's like, that's not like, I think, you know, I have this thing where I'm like, as soon as you try to bottle culture, it's not culture anymore.
Sure.
Like the culture is the river, not
Yeah.
the bottled water.
Yeah.
And it's like people are trying to bottle the water and be like, no, this is what hip hop is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, sure, that's like a moment in time.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you're in Denmark or, you know, one of these, like, you're removed from
Yeah.
culture saying this is supposed to be culture. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, hip hop is all about social dances and the Running Man and this and that. And it's like, but what about the social dances that people are doing currently now? Do you even know them? Or are you sitting at home with a notepad and pen telling everyone else what is and isn't hip hop? You know what I mean? Like, I hate that shit.
Yeah. Fair.
But yeah. Okay, I have a no fence sitting.
Oh.
Although I have a feeling we're not going to be sitting on many fences.
Right.
So there's this other reel that went viral-ish.
Okay.
So it says on screen, while someone is dancing, it says, hot take, ballet is, in capitals, not the foundation of all dance. And if you want to get better at hip-hop, then you need to train hip-hop. And it is a guy dancing. So this reel has like over 5,000 likes at the moment, and everyone's in the comments talking.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's a hot take.
Voila. Continue.
Hot take. This is not a hot take. No, I don't think it's a hot take because, I mean, who even said that ballet is the foundation of all dances?
Okay, so here is my thing. I have a theory that's not a theory. This is my tagline. It's my opinion, but I'm right. Which is like, this is the thing that people, it's a social media technique. And whether people know they're doing it or don't know they're doing it, it's like, it's akin to like rage baiting, where people say
Like
something that negates a point that no one made.
yeah.
So it will be like if you wanted a reel to go viral, you could be like, oh, who said James Brown is boring? And then it's someone dancing to James Brown. Yeah. And it's like, but no one said that. But you're saying that so that we all go, yeah, that's bullshit. James Brown's the best.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a social media technique where you just make up a false statement to argue against in your reel as if you've seen that somewhere, and nobody really clocks that first part. They just pay attention to the part that they agree with.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great example of that, where it's like, nobody said ballet is the foundation of all dance. Like the thing is why this reel went, whether or not he did it purposely, but it's like it taps into a feeling which there is some substance behind, which is that like dance is like Eurocentric and ballet is the like oldest classical form of dance, and we remove the kind of like, first of all, the African dances that were even earlier than ballet, but then also all of that lineage.
Yeah.
Which is like also the Black American dances and all these type of things. Like that is a thing that happens where, you know, even in venues and these things, they would call ballet classical dance, but then they would call like hip hop or, you know, African dances something else. And it's like, why is that not classical? Because you have a Eurocentric view, blah, 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 blah. So it taps into this feeling, which is a real feeling. Yeah. But no one has said ballet. And almost every venue, if you said, do you think ballet is the foundation of all dance? Like they would say, no. Like, of course not.
Like there's hundreds of dances that are much older than ballet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But yeah, I think it's like, it kind of, like you said, it taps into this kind of like, the fact that the Western canon just dominates the cultural narrative of, and it establishes a value of what is worth what and what is seen as like more like kind of higher art or things that are like folklore and like traditional like heritage dance. So I think it's like it taps into that, but I think that like the hot take,
it's top tier like clickbait.
Yeah. So I mean, no fence sitting. I mean, I agree with him.
Okay,
Like,
here is my other thing though. This is a hot take.
Oh.
Is that no, it says ballet is not the
foundation.
And you need to train hip hop to get better at hip hop. Now, here is my hot take on this.
Okay.
That is true. However, ballet and contemporary, I would more lean this towards contemporary, but I will say ballet. Hip hop as an entire culture is something like 60 years old.
Yeah.
Ballet as just a dance style is over 500 years old.
Yeah.
Ballet dancers and contemporary dancers are much better at understanding the training required to have the facilities in your body to be a great dancer. So when a ballet dancer or a contemporary dancer is dancing, like when you're learning contemporary, you don't learn here's a step, here's a step, here's a step. You learn the ability to control your body in space, the ability to turn, regardless of how you turn. How does the physics of a turn work?
Yeah.
How do you go from high to low and like not make it feel thuddy and janky.
Yeah.
Like, how do you smooth that thing? How do you get to the floor without injuring yourself and get back up? And where do you need to be strong in order to do those things? So as much as, yes, like ballet is not the foundation of dance, nor is contemporary, the end part, which is you need to train hip hop to be better at hip hop, I don't necessarily agree with, because you could, and we've seen this with a ton of dancers who are hip hop dancers, but are classically trained. Because in order to be like classic, like I would say that, I mean, UK wise, like Frankie, Silk, like there's a lot of people that I can say, I saw them before and after they went to dance college. And when they come out, there's something different, because it's not about the dance styles that you're taught, but it's about how you're taught to understand your body.
Yeah, but I think it's like, and it depends, like, and this is where, like, I hear what you're saying, but like the nuance for me is more that, like, I think, like, the fact you're saying you don't necessarily need to train hip hop to get better at hip hop, but it's like, to a certain extent, like, not necessarily no, but it's like, when you're already at a certain level, yeah, it's like, okay, then doing contemporary or even doing like strength training or even maybe doing circus, like, like kind of having different like physical skills is going to improve your dance. But because there's already like a basic understanding of like a lot of the foundation material, essence, whatnot. So if you look at people like Frankie and Silk, it's like, yeah, but they already, when they did contemporary school, they already had years of practice. So it's not like, whereas when you look at somebody who's only done ballet and then they do hip hop, you know, it's
put it
kind
this
of
way, like, I think someone who's a trained contemporary dancer learning hip hop would learn hip hop way quicker than someone who is a non-contemporary trained dancer learning hip hop. Because I think you understand your body, so it doesn't take long for you to adapt.
Yeah, I mean,
like look at the dancers from Rambert doing like Marion's choreography. Not that that's hip hop, but she comes in with like a kind of weird, quirky style, and they're immediately able to pick. Imagine like a hip hop crew trying to pick up Marion's stuff. They would not be able to make it look that good, because the speciality is in hip hop, not in controlling your body. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I hear it. I mean,
similar. It's commercial dancers are like next door.
Yeah,
it's like contemporary ballet and then commercial dancers that are like, the skill is not any one style. The skill is I'm adaptable to everything.
Yeah, and it's like also, yeah, I guess that the like it's a really different approach also, because in like street dance is very much about like your individuality, your style, having an identity, whereas like a lot of the ballet contemporary is about like fitting in. Like, learn to do this, like, learn to see that thing, do that thing, see that thing, do that thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I hear your point. I
just think it's like, say with like, contemporary and stuff, it's like a lot of the research they do is, it's almost scientific.
Yeah.
It's like just the science of movement first. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can disregard. But it's like, to be like, oh, we don't need those classical dancers. It's like, sure, you don't need them, but that's also not... It's like when people do hip-hop theatre and they discard everything that like contemporary and ballet companies do, and it's like a lot of that is built on years of we know what works.
But yeah, and I think it's like also,
and you see some of the hip hop theatre companies suffer because of it.
I mean, the context, like I think like the context really kind of like the context really highlights like the fact that it's like ballet and contemporary has been around for hundreds of years, and it's like has like thrived and gained status through like institution.
Yeah.
And like, you know, curriculum and like set blah blah. And the whole premise of hip hop is that it's something that exists outside of the institution.
Sure.
That is like kind of a like made with like with almost nothing, and where like you don't need that big institution because it's like because of the context. So it's like, it's hard for me, like I hear it, but also it's like, it's hard for me to compare, because it's like the means and the resources and the structures and the research and all of that is like kind of counter.
Like, but that's not what, like, I think there's a part of it. I'm not saying everything. But I'm saying there's a good portion of these styles that, like I said, it's like they understand something about floor work that a lot of us don't over here. And it's like, not because they have some institutionalized secret teaching. It's just because for 500 years they've researched the best way to drop to the floor, and there was a lot of money on the line if they could learn to do it well. So, or how many turns can you do? Like, they understand the physics of turns, like I said, so that some ballerina can do like 52 pirouettes, and then we're here trying to like spin in hip hop or house, and then be like, yeah, I reckon if I just throw myself around in a circle, it's like, no, you can borrow certain things from them because it's just correct. Like, there's some bullshit which is like the techniques and the way and the institutionalized nature of it.
And I think it's like, even if you look at like you know, I mean, I think that also these dances like you know, even if it's like you look through the history of the styles, and like a lot of like jazz being, you know, kind of appropriated by like more like white institutions from that culture. But it's like, even if you look at like old videos of Soul Train, it's like a lot of dancers on there were like trained that, like, you know, I think it's like there were people with like different like backgrounds, but there was definitely also people that were part of the era and of like the foundation of these different styles that were like doing jeté and pirouette, and like it wasn't like just Joe off the street necessarily, like they were performers, you know. So I think it's like, I mean, all these stories and these styles are like intertwined, you know. And I think it's like this mentality of them and us is also not like, you're missing a trick if you can, like, you're not to, like, I understand you don't have to like go take ballet classes, but also, like you said, there is like knowledge and resources that they've done some of the work. So it just saves you having to do that work if you kind of are able to access it.
Yeah, but you know, also I think like everything's super nuanced, but it's like there is, because those institutions are so elite and what's the word when you like don't let everyone in?
Elitist or
elitist,
like
classist or classist or whatever. There is this feeling of like, oh, like so many people feel rejected from ballet school, from contemporary school. So when you do hip hop and stuff, it's like it's easy to use that feeling of being rejected as a like, yeah, fuck them anyway, we don't need them. It's like some people, it's so funny, like I hear people talk about like, yeah, hip hop is so much better than like ballet and contemporary, and they're like studio competition dancers that have like learned, they're like from the middle of England that have learned like UDO routines from some white lady for their whole life, and they're like, yeah, and it's like, you are not part of this, like, you know what I mean? It's like they're like, yeah, hip, and it's like you're only speaking because you didn't get into ballet school when you were young. Like, you're just projecting your feeling of rejection onto like this thing. And it's like, if what you're talking about is doing like hip hop international routines, like that's not quite the argument of like hip hop culture versus institutionalized dance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, but I think this is where it's like, and you know, everybody has their own kind of issues that they're projecting or whatever, but it's like this them and us thing also comes from how elitist they are. And so therefore everybody that feels rejected and now has this solace in hip hop somehow. It's like there might be people that are deep in hip hop culture being like, we don't need that. And then they're going, yeah, I agree, because I don't need them either, because fuck them. And it's like, all right, well, you could do with some training. Like,
sure. But yeah.
Anyway, so no fence sitting. We both agree with him, but also it's clickbait.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And for our one to watch.
Sunlux.
What is Sunlux? Sunlux? 100 Lux?
100 Lux.
Is where we are at right now. We did a long time ago, we did a podcast here with ATN and J Style.
Yeah.
And yeah, just that one, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah. But yeah, as we previously mentioned, we're in Montreal, Canada, your hometown. So do you want to tell a little bit about where we're at, what this place is?
Yes. So Sunlux is like basically for all the non-French speakers. Like it's written 100 lux, but like in French, 100 means 100, but it also means without.
Oh, like SANS
Yeah,
versus CENT.
exactly.
But it's the same sound.
Yeah, it's the same sound. So it's like 100 lux, it's like 100 lux. But
LUX.
yeah, but it also means like without lux, like without luxury, kind of. Like,
Ah, okay.
that,
Okay.
like, and basically it was founded in 2012 by Martine Bruno, aka Cherry, the homegirl, and Axel Ebony, they're both whackers, but they also both have trained in like a lot of different styles. And if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right, Saint-Luc actually started as like a platform that was to present like mixed bill of theater work from hip hop artists. So I think that started before it became a community space. So they started it as an initiative, like a little bit like breaking convention, but on a much like smaller scale. And over the years, like they had their, those theater nights that they presented, and then eventually, wanting to like support. And I think it really highlighted also like the need of the community to have a space to work and to develop things. So they founded the like space and as a non-for-profit organization, I believe the website says, in 2012. And the idea is to really kind of support and like shine light and give access to resources to different like actors or leaders in the street dance community, to have a space to be able to go and be and do things. And it's like where it's also self-governed, because I think a lot of times it's like, there's like a community center that's really known in the street dance scene here. That's it's like a sports hall, if you want. And it's like they always had like really, really good street dance classes, and it's like $70 for the whole year for all the classes. But it's like, you have access to like, let's say it was always classes on Sunday evenings, but it's like you don't have access to the room at other times. And it's like there's like basketball and
yeah, sure.
a bunch
Just
of
when it's
activities.
open, it's open.
And then there's also like another really kind of staple place that's Urban Element, that is a dance studio. And they used to be in another location that had a lot of like different rooms, and that was a lot kind of bigger space where people would go practice. But it was still a dance studio, meaning like there's like, a full schedule of like classes, and like they would let people go practice, but it was more run like a dance studio as we know it. Whereas this is really like a community space. And like, I don't know exactly the details of exactly how it's run now, but it's like, they're not necessarily like classes that you sign up for a session.
I mean, they've got sessions like they've got like 2 per night, Monday to Friday. It's like electro and house and popping and whacking and this and that, like every night.
Where it's like there can be somebody who's guiding something, but it's not necessarily like a class where we do like you have to drill like this and and I think it's like, I remember even a while ago, it was like, let's say Wednesday, if it's like there's like a MK is like Montreal Crump Alliance, and it's like Wednesday is their night, so Montreal Crump Alliance runs that night. So it's like maybe it's just a session, maybe someone's gonna teach, maybe like so there was like kind of like a Vogue night, and again like people kind of decide how they want to run the evening, and they also put on like professional development workshops. They also support like different people with creative processes. They also kind of lend the space to people who have ideas of like, oh, I want to put on this thing. Like there's like somebody I saw recently that was putting something on that was called like Spreadsheet Cipher, where it's kind of to get like your admin stuff and like prepare taxes for
that. Sounds like a very Tally thing to do.
Yeah, for like the people in the community who like maybe need support in doing those kinds of things. So it's like, okay, let's all come there and like do this together. So it also supports like initiatives of different individuals.
Nice.
And they still have their festival, well, when they present like
Work,
theater work. And yeah, I think it like I left Montreal before they opened the space, so it hasn't been part of my like coming up. This space didn't exist yet, but I think it's really kind of made a big difference in like just having access, and again like the self-governance and the ability to have a space to just be without the pressure of like, you know, oh well, right, we have X amount of classes and then like you can come at 10:30 p.m. and like you can shut the door. And you know, it's like this is really kind of a space that exists for the community and is run by members of the community. So I think it's like such a special, dope initiative. And like, I mean, I don't know exactly the ins and outs of how it runs, but it's just like, especially when we talk about culture and like, you know, times have changed. Like we're not in the 70s in LA. I mean, not anymore. We never were in Montreal. But it's kind of like, I think that culture and bonds and community like doesn't necessarily like, yes, it happens in the cipher and when you practice and when you're in class, but it also happens like in all the in-between moments, you know, like when you're stretching after and you're having chats and you're telling stories, when you're like, I mean, not anymore, but like I remember at the old Urban Element, it's like there was a TV in the lounge, and it's like that's where we would play DVD from Je Debout, and like because somebody brought it, so it's like and then you learn who's who and you hear stories, and it's like, you know, or just like call out battle, or people were there and were ciphering. So it's not just like the action of practicing and dedicating to yourself to a craft, but it's like the ability to come together and to be together without like the rush of like, your time's up, you have to get out now. You know, that is so valuable and is so special and it's so difficult to get, you know, and so I think that they've done such an amazing, like incredible job of creating this space and running it. And just recently, Axel, who was one of the founders, as I said, she has stepped away and now has handed it to like other members of the community who are now like new like director and co-artistic director. So it's also the ability of the legacy to continue, even if, you know, both Martin and Axel have now moved on to other things in their career, but it's kind of like passing the torch. And you know, I think it's just like, yeah, it's just great and so special. And I hope that, you know, like the grass is always greener on the other side, but like I hope that people in Montreal know how like special this is, because it doesn't exist in a lot of places. And so it's like you really kind of sometimes, because something has been there for a long time, you can kind of just take it for granted.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that, you know, I feel like this would be like your dream to have a space like this.
Yeah, one day.
So, you know, maybe the capsule.
This will be a little podcast studio.
Yeah. But yeah, so big up to Christina, Tea Leaf, the new direction, and Martin and Axel, who have like just, you know, built something so amazing. From like, even, you know, something that like I find really inspiring is like from like having an idea of like, oh, let's put a night on, and like and then things just snowball and become like such a central part of the community.
Yeah.
And you know, like Axel is my age, so it's like when she created this 2012, it means she was 22.
That's crazy. Yeah.
With Cherry, who's like a little bit older, but it's kind of just like sometimes you think you can only do things when you've arrived at a certain place in your life and whatnot.
Yeah, or like these type of community initiatives you'll do after you finish your career of dancing.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think it's been amazing, and I know like a lot of people, you know, come here, and you know, it's like I think there's like a spot for the DJs to practice as well, and like,
yeah, I was here for a couple of sessions.
Yeah, there's
summer.
like scratch nights. There's a whole bunch of different things that happen. So it's really,
and it's a lovely space.
It is a lovely space. So yeah, big up to the whole Saint-Luc's team.
Thank you for having us
Thank you
and
for
allowing us to record our podcast from here once again.
Yeah.
It's nice to have peoples in Montreal who are also willing to support the capsule. We love you for that. Thank you guys for listening. Please give us your thoughts, feelings, opinions in the comments. If there's anything you agree with, you disagree with, let us know.
Hit that bell button.
Like, comment, subscribe. And if there's anything you want us to cover in future episodes, also let us know. Yeah. Peace. See you next week.
I love you and miss you.
And welcome to 2026.
Welcome to 2026.